Yo, yo, yo. Today we're going to be watching the last episode of this season of Which Had Atelier. And hey, I'm excited, man. I'm so excited that I decided to put on my robe. I don't have a suit, but this is my little tradition. The season finale, I got my robe on. Last episode left on a pretty crazy note, man. That damn Brimmed Cap invisible cloak guy came in and he just kidnapped Elira. And so I'm excited to see what happens. What is he going to do to these kids, man? Is he going to try to convert them to the dark side of magic? Try to get them to do a little bit of forbidden magic? All right, here we go. Coco, you're so fast. They're having a little race right now. It's nice to see them having some fun. Yeah, the self shoes. Did not stick the landing. Oh, she doesn't know. She's still using him. She must have liked it. Yeah, she liked the spell. She got a little upgrade. I likes my spell. Coco is not listening. Oh. Yeah, that's a little message that's saying that something's wrong. Kefrey knows already. Yeah, it's good that Elira sent her hat. Oh shit, something's happening. Oh, damn. A golem. Oh, damn, I didn't know they could do that. Yeah, Kefrey knows the Brimmed Caps are already here. Oh, shit. Damn, man. That rock hit him so hard that it drew blood. This episode is called Forbidden Magic. Oh, Jesus. Where are they supposed to run to? Honestly, they can't really run. They're in their domain expansion. Okay, of course he's freaking out. Just take it easy, bro. You're fine. You got Riche and Agot with you. Oh, what's he doing? He's putting him under the blanket. Damn, he's so quiet. Uh-oh. You actually managed to hide from me. Oh. They love hide and seek. Jesus, this guy's terrifying. Mirfins don't say anything. Oh, they turned into Mirfins. It's their little cloak. But his cloak doesn't do that anymore because he modified it. Uh-oh. Yeah, now he knows where they are. Oh, Jesus. Who hides themselves in darkness? Sinners trying to hide their nasty little secrets. Oh, jeez. He's just trying to get in their head right now. Don't listen to him. Don't listen. Oh, they have an eye. That is freaky. Because I'm the hunter here. Oh, Jesus, man. You'd be better at hiding because you're damn invisible. Oh, he's getting sucked in. Those are eyes. Oh. Okay, a little smoke screen. We gotta get out of here, Riche. I don't think this dust is gonna be enough to stop this thing. We can't fly away because of the spell on the cave. Oh, shit. So they either gotta go deeper or they gotta go back to the entrance. Even Elira couldn't beat them. They just gotta... I don't know, bro. Oh god, it's the gap. That's a pretty sizable gap, not gonna lie. Agot's already... She's cooking something up already. She froze the air along her feet. Oh wow, so she observed her. She's gonna replicate it. Freeze the road itself. Yeah, facts. Just make a little ice path. Nice. Holy. Wow. Good job, Agot. She's so good. She's so good at what she does. Sliding will be faster than running. Okay, this will be a little fun. And Riche's doing her little spell as well. We're making a little platform to slide on, huh? Oh, yep, and the self shoes. Thank you, Coco. Okay, this is cool. This is cool. Very creative way to get out of here. Why are your shoes so fast? Yeah, they gotta keep freezing the path ahead. Come on, Uini. Come on. There we go. Attaboy. Attaboy. That's what I like to see. He's gonna catch up to us. What's wrong, Riche? Ah, she doesn't know a lot of other spells, and this is the problem, man. And I was like kind of saying this like an episode or two ago, right? The one that was focused on Riche. you know, it's good that she makes her own individual spells, and you know, she has such a strong sense of self and individuality, right? She wants to, you know, only use her own spells. I don't want them to be tainted by others, you know. But this is what happens when you don't, you know, try to balance the two. Instead of just making your own spells, you got to learn other ones too, even ones that people have already made, because not only can you incorporate that into the ones that you make, sometimes the situation is going to call for using one of these spells, you know. And so yeah, this is her little disadvantage, but hey, at least we got Agot here. Agot is like the opposite, so she can kind of fill in the gaps a little bit. So I think we're good. I think we're good. But this is cool to see, you know, a little drawback. Okay, he's giving her his little spell book, the quick seals. Yeah, okay, and on the other hand, right, I was talking about how, oh, you know, it's not a good idea just to, you know, prepare yourself for all the spells, right, because this test is meant to, you know, kind of make you think on the fly and think outside of the box, right? But in this situation, it's actually a good thing that he did that and he prepared so much. So, okay, yeah, cool, cool. Okay, Yuini, I like it. You're coming in clutch. Thank you, my boy. Come on, Riche, lock in. You gotta lock in. We all gotta pull our weight here. Damn, they're going fast, bro. Why did this happen now? Hey, it's fine. Teshia said the same thing. Oh, interesting. Yeah, this doesn't happen to the regular apprentices. They're after Coco. Oh. Oh, shit. So that means the other Brimmed Cap is here as well, maybe. Whoa. Oh, she's gonna try to talk no jutsu him. Oh, she's trying to lie to him, saying that her memory got erased. This isn't gonna work, though. They do not care. Oh. Spoken just like an apprentice. World-class liars. Oh, shit. He knows. He's seeing right through her. From the student of a liar. Oh, shit. This was not a great idea. Damn. It's so crazy how this like Brimmed Cap, right? How like they're so powerful, they don't even really need to cast seals, it seems. If this little that little ice thing we just saw was from the Brimmed Cap, then it's like that's just OP, bro. Like they use forbidden magic, and also they use it in a way that allows them to kind of just cast it instantly and no need to draw it, which is kind of crazy. I wonder how that works. I hope we get a little more insight into that. The pointed caps of the past were sinners. The pointed caps of the present are weaklings. Oh, shit. You remain stifled by their rules. Ew, what? Oh, ink. Why is the ink dripping from him? And see, this is the thing, right? I was saying this earlier, like in the last episode. I assumed at first, like, the Brimmed Caps were here to kind of, like, you know, cause havoc and, you know, harm one of the students, maybe even kill one of the students. But it seems like that's not their goal. Their goal is literally to, like, recruit apprentices to become, you know, like an apprentice of the forbidden magic. You know, so it's more like they're just trying to coerce them into, you know, coming over to their side, right? Instead of them just coming here just to kill these apprentices. So I think it's interesting how they're not here just for bloodshed. They're here to actually, you know, try to recruit some people to join their cause, whatever their cause may be. You know, maybe their cause is just to spread forbidden magic across the world because they see it as like, they probably see forbidden magic as like a pure form of magic, right? And they think that this new system that they have in place with all the gatekeeping and everything is kind of like a, you know, like a lesser system of what it used to be, right? Because it has more regulations and restrictions on it. And they say like, okay, well, why would you want to do that when you could just, you know, do the forbidden magic and be, you know, unstoppable essentially. So I think it's interesting how they have like that kind of like purist perspective on magic and like, oh, it's gotten so much worse over time, and if you really want to be a true witch, then you're gonna do this forbidden magic and it gives you all these benefits, right? It's much easier, you don't have to work as hard for it, and there's many powerful spells that you can cast, but it always comes with a drawback, man. That's why they have these systems and this gatekeeping in place, bro. So yeah, I'm hoping they don't fall victim to these words that they're hearing. Your salvation lies in forbidden magic. Have you never dreamed of more? This instant, what do you mean? You can make a world where you remain a child forever. Where you don't have to hide your spells. See, yeah, he's talking sweet to him. Fly without using shoes. You can be invisible like me. Yeah. You don't need flesh. Which kind of hat witches were meant to wear? What the hell? Hasten the moment of arrival. Yeah, like it's like a light and dark kind of type thing. Sacrifices must be made. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, hey. Once she sees the harm. Whoa, 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 whoa. What? No way they're actually gonna do this. Not Agatha, bro. Children don't wish to face the test of life. That's how they learn and grow. No, bro. No, 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 no. What are you doing? What are you doing? Do not make a lesson out of her. Stop. I mean, oh. They're gonna tattoo a seal onto Agatha. Oh my god, what? He's gonna force forbidden magic on her. Bro. What the hell? Riche, step in. Come on, come on. When you fall. Oh, she destroyed the bottom of it. Holy. Oh, okay. Shout out to you, Riche. Thank God Riche is here, man. It was looking like GG for a second. Ow. Oh, Yuini broke the path from beneath. Wow, so he's in the labyrinth. Wow, dude. Quick thinking. Very smart quick thinking by them. Yeah, the Brimmed Cap can just fly, so couldn't they just fly back up to the road? Did that really work? To think covering up for my deficiencies could lead to something useful. Okay, yeah, he's happy that he made a difference. But this is not the time to be glazing yourself. Walking in the shadow of his master. I don't know, this is too good to be true right now. This is not good. Oh my god, yeah, he's right there listening. If you just use your specialty and remain hidden away, willing to spare you. Whoa, he's talking crazy. Those who cloak themselves should have a dark side. Okay, now he's gonna try to cast a tattoo on him. I'll give you a form you really want to hide. Yo, whoa, 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 whoa. Coco, Kefrey, where are you? Any person with a spell that leaves the surface of the road should be affected by the ancient spell. But not him, man. Yeah, they're still in danger. Oh my god. So it's Yuini who's gonna get the shit end of the stick, bro. Oh my god. He's gonna look grotesque or some terrible shit. Some kind of forbidden spell was cast on him. Just no music at all, bro. This is so tense. It's so creepy. Oh my god, what is it? Oh, he's like a beast now. Oh, what? Damn. Ew. It's like he's turning into a damn werewolf. Oh. Yeah, he's like actually turning into a wolf. Feels himself vanishing. Oh my god. Nah, this is crazy. Holy. This animation is insane right now. Holy shit. Oh. Damn, what a shot. Oh my god. So I wonder if he's fully transformed or he still has like some kind of conscious to him. Wow, he just runs away. What do we do? I mean, this is a tough situation to be in. We can't really go after him. We gotta take care of this thing. To think it would integrate the scale wolf or used to make the cloak. Oh, it turned him to a scale wolf. Research is stagnated on forbidden spells. Wow, that's interesting. So it's like even the Brimmed Caps who like use this type of forbidden magic, any type of forbidden magic, they themselves don't really understand what it's truly capable of, right? Because there's not a lot of, you know, researchers researching into the forbidden magic, and it's not like they get to use it super often, right? Because they keep themselves hidden for the most part. And so he was kind of surprised that he got turned, Yui, and he got turned into the scale wolf, right? Because the cloak was made from the scale wolves. That is really interesting, man. That is really interesting. It just goes to show how crazy this forbidden magic is, and how it's almost more versatile than, you know, like the regular system of magic they have in place right now. So it's like, wow, crazy. Jesus. And Riche, she's losing her composure. Oh shit. What do we have to do to save him? He said, "Be my guest." What? He's trying to get them to use forbidden magic. Wow, wow, wow. Flies away. What are they gonna do? He just left them there. That's fascinating, man. Holy shit. Yeah, where are you going, Riche? She's gonna save him, but she's not thinking it through right now. How are you gonna do that? She doesn't want to abandon a friend. Yeah. We have a responsibility. Yeah, we gotta meet up with Coco and Kefrey. Okay, yeah, sure. That's actually probably the right thing to do. Yeah, Lyra got taken too. Where the hell did they take her? Oh, let's split up. I don't know if this is a good idea. She knows more spells. More adaptable. I mean, that's true. The spells you learned are biased towards things you like. Exactly. Right. And this is what I was talking about earlier. But I got completely right. Yeah. It's kind of a blunt way to say it, but it's true. It's true. Alright, I got good luck. Riche, get the Mirfins to safety. Damn, it's so quiet. I love how they're doing no music at all. It just makes it so much more tense. We just hear the howling of the cave. Oh shit. Oh, is it Brush Buddy? It is Brush Buddy, isn't it? I'm glad Brush Buddy's okay. So that means we're with Coco and Kefrey now. Are they unconscious? Kefrey's unconscious. He's trying to wake them up. They're not moving. Yeah, they're both unconscious. Wake up, Coco. Damn, they're all unconscious. I forgot Tetsuya was here too. And Kefrey suffered a pretty big blow, so maybe he'll be out of commission for a second. This might be up to Agat and Tetsuya. Or, I mean, Coco and Tetsuya. She doesn't remember what happened. Yeah, it was the golem. And he protected her. Wow, okay, damn, he's bleeding from the head. That's not good, bro. And Tetsuya is out cold as well. Damn, maybe it's all up to her now. Yeah, he's definitely hurt. And his glasses are broken. Just one of them. Okay, he's still... Okay, whoa, hey. Whoa, what you doing? Kefrey? Whoa, why do you grab her hand like that? Be quiet. What? Kefrey, talk to me, bro. What? Why are you acting all scary? Oh, something's out there. He wants them to be very quiet. They're in no position to fight right now either. Oh, it's like the golden statues that the civilization would use. They use their own blood to make these statues, and they're like sentient in some type of way. That's interesting. And they can smell them. And so they're in like a perpetual state of like what do you call it, resentment towards the witches, because they're the reason that they turned into the statues. Although I mean, it's not Coco or Kefrey or Tetsuya's fault that they got turned into the statues. If anything, it's their own damn fault, because their ego got the best of them, right, as a civilization, and they didn't respect magic enough. So it's not really their fault, but it's crazy how they've just been sitting here waiting, and they kind of activate whenever there are witches around, just because they, you know, despise them to some degree. Are they still people though? Transformed alive. Interesting. I thought it would kill them when they would do that, or they just would cease to be human. Oh wow, that was a massive wound on Kefrey. Yeah, they hold resentment. Exactly. Yeah, no, they're not just gonna sit there and wait. They're coming after us. Stay right where you are. Kefrey, you can't handle them. You can't solo them, my friend. Oh, so they see that it's Kefrey because his cloak is messed up. I'll protect you. Oh shit. Yo, this is Feels like a final stand for Kefrey. I'm sure he'll be okay, but this is giving me some weird vibes right now. Stay close to me. He can't even stand straight, really. He might use some forbidden magic here. I think that might be his only choice. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh my god. Yo! I'm getting chills right now. Insane shot. No. Yo, yo, yo. What, bro? No, no, no. You can't leave it there, bro. What? That's it? No way, bro, that they left it here. Oh my god. Ugh. That episode flew by, man. Damn. I'm not gonna lie, I thought there'd be a little bit more like, just like resolving some things, you know, but it seems like they leaned fully into the cliffhanger aspect, man. Holy. That's actually crazy. Wow, wow. What a good episode, man. I really enjoyed that one. And it was like, it was a little different than what I was expecting, right? Especially with, like how the Brimmed Caps were moving, right? You know, like they really just want to kind of coerce the kids into joining them and using forbidden magic and try to open their eyes to see like the, you know, the possibilities of what it's really capable of, right? And I think it's interesting, right? Like, especially the final scene, this little shot here with Kefrey, it seems like he's doing some kind of forbidden magic, man. Like this is something we have never really seen before, you know, like this crazy looking light that's pulling out from him. It feels like it's some kind of forbidden magic. And wow, what a shot. This is probably one of the craziest little scenes that I've seen in this anime. It's actually breathtaking animation, but I think it's interesting, right? Because my little theory that I have right now is Kefrey in this position is using forbidden magic. Because, you know, he's backed into a corner essentially, you know, and he's wounded, right? So he's not going to be able to be 100% in casting all of his spells and moving around and handling it like he usually does, right? Combine that with the fact that this spell looks like something different than anything we've ever seen before. It's most likely like a forbidden magic. And I think it's interesting, right? Because Kefrey is willing to go this far when it comes to protecting, you know, Coco and you know, just his apprentices in general, right? And, you know, he knows that the Brimmed Caps are here at this point. He can most likely infer that. And whenever he gets backed into a corner, you know, he does resort to some type of forbidden magic. Like an example is, you know, him wiping the memory of the old guy, right? And him just using some other spells earlier on that were, I believe, were forbidden forms of magic, right? Just like very destructive spells, but it does seem like where this is going is that maybe one of the lessons that they will be taught, right, in this little arc that we have is, you know, forbidden magic is forbidden for a reason, right? But at the same time, there are very specific like niche cases where you are backed into a corner and you have no choice but to use some kind of forbidden magic. And I think that would actually be a perfect lesson to teach them, right? Instead of like, okay, you're never allowed to use any type of forbidden magic, right? Because that's how it's been since the Great War, you know, that's why the Knights Morales exist, you know, they don't want that to happen. They don't want another war to happen. But if you're a witch, you know, if you truly want to be like a masterful witch, more so than any other witch in that we've ever seen, right? There are certain cases that will call for forbidden magic. And I think it would be a good lesson to teach them because it would teach them to, you know, be afraid of it, right? And not necessarily afraid, but be very, very, very careful and only use it in a position where you have no other choice, you know, where your life is on the line. Then it is okay to use a forbidden spell or two, right? And I think that is just like, it's cool because it teaches them, you know, how to really become a witch. You know, if you want to be a masterful witch, then yeah, you learn all the regular spells, right? You do all the concealment and you learn all the spells and all that stuff. But there are certain cases where, you know, you might have to bust out a forbidden spell or two. And I think if that's what Kefrey does, that would actually be a very good lesson to teach them, right? And it would make sense because, like, the goal of the Brimmed Caps right now is to, you know, kind of open their eyes, you know, and force them to use forbidden magic. But instead of that, you know, instead of that happening, because if that were to happen, then it could be bad, right? It could be very damaging to the apprentices, because then they would realize the true scale and power of the forbidden magic, right? And then they wouldn't have to work as hard for anything, you know, because it's just like a shortcut almost, where, you know, why would you draw these seals on your shoes when you could just, you know, draw it on your foot, tattoo it on your foot permanently, and you can just fly around, you know? And you can even discard your own flesh, like we saw that the invisible guy did, right? And yeah, it would be cool to see that, you know, it's like, oh, I could do so much with this magic. Maybe I'll start dabbling in forbidden magic. This is way better than having to go through all these hoops and concealment just to do regular magic, right? That's only a fraction of the power. And maybe it would kind of show them the right way to approach it, because I think, you know, it's not necessarily the greatest idea to gatekeep the forbidden magic, you know, for all the witches, right? Because if you're a witch, then, you know, your goal should be to master all types of magic. And just because it's forbidden, right, doesn't mean that it doesn't have a use, right? Because there's also, I believe an episode or 2 or 3 ago, like, Kefrey was talking about how even healing spells to some degree are considered forbidden, right? Because it's forbidden to cast a seal onto someone's body, right? And so I think this is actually interesting, because it kind of challenges like our view on forbidden magic, right? And it's not necessarily bad. It's kind of like how, you know, it's the opposite of what we've learned so far, where it's like, oh, magic is good, right? And then, you know, on the other side, it's like a double-edged sword. Yeah, it's good, magic is good, but then there's not so good. There's very destructive magic, right? And that's why they gatekeep it. And so I just think it's cool how it's more like nuanced, right? You know, like the whole concept of magic and the forbidden side of it, right? And how, you know, the forbidden side can have benefits as well. And it's all about how you approach it. You know, if you do forbidden magic, it has to be a last case scenario. And you can't use it as an easy way out, because it is much easier, but, you know, you're not going to learn as much. And, you know, it has the potential to really harm people and just be destructive, right? And so I think it's cool how they're kind of flipping that expectation on its head. And so I think that's where it's going. Kefrey's going to use the forbidden magic, and then Coco's going to be like, oh my god, you actually use forbidden magic, because it's cool. It gives more depth to Kefrey too, right? And I think that's what makes Kefrey such a good, you know, instructor, but also just a witch in general, right? Why it seems like Kefrey is one of the stronger witches that we've ever seen is because, you know, he's not afraid to step into that forbidden side of magic. And, you know, I just thought about how Coco was talking about how she could try to reverse engineer the spell that started this whole thing, right? You know, encased her mother in ice. And if she really wanted to save her mother, then she would have to draw the spell in like a reverse manner. You know, she would have to reverse engineer it, and that in itself could be considered, you know, using forbidden magic. So, you know, no matter how you look at it, I think there's a point in a lot of, not maybe a lot of witches, but, you know, some specific witches in their life, you know, they have to use forbidden magic. And you could argue that, you know, that's all been caused by the Brimmed Caps, right? And so this was their part of their plan the entire time, just to get people to start using it again. And so maybe the Brimmed Caps, you know, they might be scary and crazy and all this shit, but hey, maybe they're onto something, bro. They could be onto something with the fact that they're saying like, hey, forbidden magic could be used for good as well. But it's just hard, man, you know, because, you know, if anyone could use the forbidden magic, then there would be another war, right? Because you can't expect everyone to be like Coco or Kefrey or Agat or any of the apprentices, right? The little gang that we follow throughout this story. But yeah, no, that's actually interesting. I didn't really consider that part. Of like, you know, just like a different perspective of forbidden magic itself. That was a good episode. I enjoyed that one a lot. It was very tense, right? And I enjoyed it, because a lot of the episodes we had recently were kind of just not slow, but there weren't too many stakes going on, and there's a lot of feel good, you know, slice of life, wholesome episodes. And if it wasn't that, it was like a little character focused episode for the most part. But I really enjoyed this one because the stakes are high and there's a lot of crazy shit going on. And we're being forced into a corner. So I think we're gonna, you know, the story's gonna change a little bit in terms of what we are comfortable with so far, you know, what we've been told. I think they're gonna try to flip it on its head, which is just good writing, I think. What a good anime. I've been really enjoying this one, and it kind of like came out of nowhere for me, right? Like, I heard of the manga only like a month or so before the anime actually came out, so I'm glad I didn't actually read the manga, and I could kind of just, watch the anime itself. But yeah, overall, I think this is one of the better anime I've seen. Like, one of the newer animes, one of the better ones, right? It's just like so unique. It's just well done, there's a lot of love put into it, I feel like. And obviously, one of the biggest things, right, is the animation. The animation is just breathtaking. I've never seen an anime with like this kind of animation, like especially this last little sequence, right? And all the ones before it, even to like the small little details, the range of motion, the color scheme, the the backgrounds of the environments, a lot of it just looked like it was straight out of a painting. And so it's genuinely amazing to see, you know, how artistic and how like beautiful the animation can be sometimes, because animation is already great. We live in a period of the anime industry where the animation is just on a whole nother level on itself, but this is more of like an artistic thing, where it's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful, right? And another big like I think a big strong point of this show and like this series as a whole, right, is the magic system. This magic system is one of the best I think I've ever seen, right? Because it's so simple in concept, but it's so in depth, right? And I think all the great power systems in any anime or anything really, it's like it's kind of simple, but there's so much you can do with it. There's so many like combinations you can do with it, right? It's almost like the Nen system in some way, where it's just like there's almost like limitless possibilities, and it even like how the possibilities work in terms of you take a spell, right? Well, there's components to the spell, and if you slightly alter one of the components in a spell of your choosing, then it like not completely changes, but it changes in some meaningful way, right? And if you reverse the seals, it turns into the opposite of the spell. So I think like while it seems simple on the surface, it's just drawing. See, it's literally just drawing, right? That's the magic. It is actually such a well like fleshed out thing where there's so much you can do with it, and the fact that there's so much you can do with it, there comes the drawbacks, right? And so like in terms of like the plot, it makes perfect sense like why the world is the way that it is, right? And why they gatekeep this magic and how it can be easily abused. And I just think it's so well written. It's so interesting how the magic system is also a very integral part of the world, right? It is pretty much the world itself. There's so many things that are centered around this magic, right? And even like the gatekeeping, it makes perfect sense why they would do that. Yeah, man, I love to see it. And I love all the different perspectives that you can have, right? And how, all the different little cast members, another strong point of this show, right, is I think all the characters are actually very memorable. They all have their own distinct personality, and more importantly, like a different perspective in terms of the world, and it influences how they do magic, and what kind of spells they draw. It's all connected, and I think it's so cool. I think maybe one of the weaker characters, though, if I had to say, is probably Tetsuya. We really didn't get much lore on Tetsuya for the most part, because at this point we've had the Riche backstory, we know Agot's backstory, we spent a lot of time with her, and especially Coco, right? But Tetsuya's like the only one that we haven't really had a lot of screen time dedicated to, so I'm hoping that will change eventually. But besides that, I think all the main little cast that we have, they're all just super fun, and they're all different in their own way, and they all have their own perspective, and I think it's so cool. And yeah, man, I love Coco too. Coco is such a great character. She's just so pure, so wholesome, and she loves magic so much. And it's cool to see the impact that she has on, all of the members, right? Especially Agot. I really do love that part, how she's the agent of change. She, of course, she's the reason why the Brimmed Caps are on their ass in the first place, but, she also positively impacts everyone around her, including Kefrey, right? I think Kefrey is another great character as well. He's such a fascinating character. He's a great teacher, and he cares about his students, but at the same time, he has a different side to him that he doesn't really show very often. And when it's mostly connected to the Brimmed Caps, right? Because he was talking about how the Brimmed Caps took something from him. And so I'm wondering what that something was. You know, it must have been very, very important, very precious to him. And that's why, you know, when it comes to the Brimmed Caps, he's willing to go into the forbidden magic and do these things, you know, even erase the memory of someone who helped him, you know, just so he could kind of cover his tracks a little bit. I just think it's interesting how he shows a different side to himself. He could be scary sometimes, man. He can definitely be scary because it's like you don't expect it, right? Because like this entire time he has this positive demeanor, and you can tell he does care about his students, you know, he loves them all, especially Coco, you know, because at first it was kind of like he chose Coco because he's like, oh, wait a second, I can find the Brimmed Caps through Coco. But as time went on, he realized, you know, just how much of a pure soul Coco is, and just how great of a witch that she could be one day. And I think, you know, he's definitely warmed up to her a lot, to the point where he really does care about her, and not just her, but all the little apprentices that he has under his wing now. And so I think it's cool we get a little bit of development from him, but there's also a side we don't really see. And I think in this last scene, you know, he's starting to he can't really hide it anymore, you know, because he's been hiding this forbidden magic. He doesn't want his pupils to think less of him, and he doesn't want them to misuse this forbidden magic. But like I said, you know, there's going to be cases where you might not have a choice, and the forbidden spell is the only thing that you can do to get yourself out of this situation. But yeah, man, this was good. I think this was one of the best episodes. I still think episode like 4 or 5 was the best of the season, right? That was just a low-key like a masterclass of an episode in terms of just like they did everything right, you know, with the dragon, you know, and the Brimmed Cap. That was peak. The animation was on another level. The plot was amazing. We got some great development from the characters. And I think after that point, it was good still, don't get me wrong, but it was a little slow, you know, compared to that specific episode. But there's nothing wrong with that, because it just makes like the crazy moments hit a lot harder, right? I like how they take it slow sometimes as well. And I think it was crazy how UNE was the one to kind of get the shitty end of the stick, right? Like I said, because the last episode, I was kind of confused because they spent so much time on him and how he is as a character. I was like, wow, they're really like building up his character a lot. So I assumed that he would join the gang at some point, and maybe he will. But I think it's cool how they built him up so much for him to be a victim of this forbidden magic, right? As soon as he figured himself out and he had this revelation and he started locking in, you know. And it was just crazy to see him turn into a damn wolf, like the scale wolf or whatever. And so I'm wondering, that's another thing I'm wondering about is, you know, how would Agot even help him in this situation? Because yeah, she knows a lot of different spells. She's very flexible, but this is a forbidden spell. You know, this is not something that she has ever learned before. So I'm interested to see, you know, how would she even try to revert him back to his human form? And would she try to use forbidden magic, you know? I hope that's the direction it goes in, you know? It's like the characters are tempted. They're tempted for the forbidden magic, but they still learn to respect it and maybe use it when it's absolutely the only option, right? Shout out to Bug Films. I think they're the ones that are doing this animation. I could be wrong. It could be someone different, but yeah, this was such a good anime, man. Such a great, you know, breath of fresh air. There's a lot of substance to this anime too, right? A lot of like little lessons that they try to bestow upon you. But yeah, I do enjoy how it gets dark sometimes as well. And that's what I like to see, you know. I don't want it to be just a wholesome slice of life the entire show. It's not like that's a bad thing or anything, but like I just think it adds a lot more depth and complexity, and just it's more compelling to watch when the show, you know, kind of takes a different approach to things, and it gets a little more serious and dark sometimes. And I love it how they sprinkle it in, because on the surface it doesn't seem like it would be something like that, you know. It seems like a very positive show, but I think it's cool how they kind of show both sides. But yeah, man, overall, great season. Great season. I think it's probably, I would imagine it's one of the higher rated animes of the season. I think this is a very well received anime already, you know, which makes perfect sense. And the only thing I'm sad about is, you know, I just wish it was longer, to be completely honest. You know, I think it really could have benefited from a couple more episodes. And this cliffhanger is just devastating, man. It's devastating. I don't want to read the manga. I'm gonna exert a little bit of self-control here. I'm not gonna read the manga. You know, usually when the story gets crazy like this and it leaves a cliffhanger, I try to read the manga, but I think I'm gonna hold off and let them cook because, you know, this anime adaptation, it's amazing, man. It's absolutely amazing. I love how just artistic it is, you know, and just so many breathtaking shots, and it's great. It's really great. And I love how the quality never dipped whatsoever. You know, like every episode was beautiful. And it wasn't like a case of, you know, they put all their budget into the first episode or the second or even the third, right? You know, the quality level maintained itself throughout the entire 12 episodes, I think, through the run of this season. And I just think it's such a good thing. They're not dropping the ball, man. So, hey, I'm going to let them cook. I'm going to let them take their time, and I don't have a problem with waiting. It's going to be a little bit of a hard wait because I want to know what happens here. But, you know, I'm willing to wait, especially if it means we get the same level of quality that we've been getting from this anime. But yeah, man, damn. Witch Hat Atelier. Great anime. I'm really liking it. I'm excited to see how it goes. And I don't know how long this manga is, right? Maybe I'll look it up, you know, just like a chapter count or something like that, just to get an idea of how long this story is. Like, where are we in the actual story, you know? Like, are we still in the beginning, or are we, you know, getting towards the middle, you know? Is this a short manga? Is it a longer story? That's something I really want to know, because I think there's like the room for, you know, different plots in this anime. It's just like endless, right? Is the goal just to save Coco's mom? And if she does save her mother, then what happens after that? Does she become a witch and just help people? That would mean the Brimmed Caps would have to stop being active. So I think, you know, the Brimmed Caps they're gonna have to be dealt with. That's gonna have to be resolved before Coco could even save her mother and you know, live out her life as a witch helping people. And so I'm interested, man. And yeah, I'm interested to see where this story goes, and where are we in terms of just the overall, you know, plot. How close are we to the end? Because it really doesn't feel like we're very close at all. So I think this could be like a, you know, like 3 seasons, 4 seasons, maybe. I don't know, but hey, that's me being optimistic. I just want more of this show. So hey, the more the better. As long as they, you know, stay true to the manga and the story's still good and the animation quality is the same, then hey, I'm willing to watch, you know, many more seasons of this. I think it would be great. But yeah, I think that's enough yapping. I've said a lot about the show. Overall, I think it's great. You know, overall, I give it like almost like a 9 out of 10. You know, it's just a very enjoyable watch. And there's really not many downsides to the show. And the few downsides that, you know, weak points of the show, I think it's fine, you know. And the only thing that I could really think of is it was kind of slow to a certain degree. It was kind of just like that post-peak clarity, you know, where the 4th or 5th episode was just peak. And so you could kind of say that the other ones paled in comparison to it, but I think it was fine, you know. I think it was fine, and the payoff is great. So I think it was needed to, you know, take a little chill for a little while and just like slow things down and build out the characters and the world a little bit more. But yeah, overall great season, man. It flew by. It definitely flew by. Hopefully this next season will be out in a year or so. I'm sure they're already cooking it up because I know this was a success. I'm sure they got a lot of money from this show too, if that's what they're after. So I bet they're cooking up the next season right now. And if I had to guess, it would probably be another 12 episodes, right? Which is fine. As long as the pacing is good enough, then it's okay to have a shorter anime. And that just seems to be a lot of anime now, you know, the shorter seasons. But yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. Overall, great episode, great season, and I'm excited for the rest, man. It's been a treat. So yeah, thank you for watching. I will see you for season 2 of Witch Hat Atelier, whenever that may be. Peace.